The stars stretched endless in the black sea of space. A single human ship cut across that ocean, its silver body shining faintly under the distant sun. The crew inside was tense. They were not here for war, not for conquest. They were here for peace. At least that was what they hoped. Captain Daniel sat in the command chair, his eyes fixed on the alien world glowing blue and green beneath them. It looked beautiful, almost like Earth. But everyone knew beauty could be dangerous. The planet was home to an alien species that no human had ever met in person before. This was the first step into the unknown. "Prepare landing sequence," the captain ordered. His voice was calm, but his hand gripped the armrest tightly. Around him, the crew moved quickly. Buttons clicked. Screens flashed. The ship's engines hummed louder as they entered the atmosphere. Inside the cabin, no one spoke. The silence was heavy, filled with fear and curiosity. What would the aliens look like? Would they be hostile? Would they even understand humans? The ship shook as it broke through the clouds. Wind howled outside, but slowly the planet revealed itself. Wide plains stretched as far as the eye could see. Strange trees with glowing leaves swayed gently, and in the distance structures rose, tall curved towers almost like giant shells resting on the earth. "They are waiting for us," whispered Elena, the science officer. On the ground below, a group of figures stood in a perfect line. The landing gear touched the surface with a deep thud. Dust rose around the ship as the engines powered down. A strange silence filled the air once more. The humans looked at one another. This was it. The first moment of contact. The hatch opened with a hiss. Warm air rushed inside, carrying the scent of flowers and something sweet, almost like honey. The humans stepped out carefully, their boots pressing against the alien soil. The ground was soft, springy, alive. The figures waiting for them began to move forward. As they came closer, the humans saw them clearly. They were tall, slender beings, their skin a pale silver that shimmered in the light. Their hair flowed like threads of light itself, glowing faintly in shades of blue and green. And their eyes, large, bright, and unblinking, studied the humans with deep interest. But what struck the humans most was that all the figures were female. Not one male among them. They moved with grace, almost floating as they approached. The human crew froze. Hearts pounded in their chests. Captain Daniel tried to smile, to show calm. He stepped forward and gave a polite bow, the way humans often greeted strangers. Then it happened. The alien women stopped just a few steps away. They stood in silence for a moment. And then, as if following a hidden signal, they all lifted their long dresses. The humans gasped. Some turned red with embarrassment. Others looked away in shock. What were the aliens doing? Was this an insult, a joke? Or something far more dangerous? Elena whispered, "Captain, is this their greeting?" No one knew. The silence felt heavier than before. The alien women stood calmly, holding their dresses high as if this was the most natural thing in the world. Their faces were serene, their eyes fixed on the humans, waiting for some kind of reply. One of the younger soldiers let out a nervous laugh. It echoed loudly in the quiet air. The alien women's expressions did not change, but something in their eyes flickered. The captain's heart sank. He felt the weight of the moment. One wrong reaction here could mean disaster. What if this gesture was sacred to them? What if laughter or shame was an insult? He swallowed hard, his mind racing. Every second felt like an eternity. The crew waited for his order, but Daniel himself had no idea what to do. Should he copy their action? Should he stay silent? Should he speak? The air seemed to thicken with tension. Even the wind had gone still, as if the world itself was holding its breath. Finally, one of the aliens stepped closer. She was taller than the others, with brighter hair that glowed like fireflies. Slowly, she lowered her dress back into place. Her eyes met the captain's, and she tilted her head slightly as if testing him. The captain opened his mouth to speak, but before a word could escape, the alien raised her hand. The human crew froze, her lips curved into the smallest of smiles. And then, in a voice like a song carried by the wind, she spoke words that the translator device could not immediately understand. The device buzzed, clicked, and then finally translated. "Do you accept our truth?" The humans exchanged nervous looks. The captain's chest tightened. What did that mean? Truth? Was this strange dress lifting some kind of ritual of honesty? No answer came from his lips, not yet, because deep down he feared one thing. Saying the wrong word could start humanity's first war with an alien race. And so, The first meeting between humans and the alien women ended not with peace nor with war, but with silence, and a single burning question that echoed in every heart. The humans stood frozen on the alien ground, their minds racing after the strange event they had just witnessed. The alien women had lifted their dresses as if it were a sacred gesture, as if it carried a meaning too deep for humans to understand. And now, after those haunting words, "Do you accept our truth?" Silence ruled the meeting ground. Captain Daniel's throat felt dry. He could feel every eye of his crew on him, waiting for guidance. He could also feel the piercing gaze of the alien women, who stood tall and calm, their glowing hair drifting like rivers of light. They looked patient but also powerful, as if they were judging humanity in that very moment. Elena, the science officer, whispered just loud enough for the captain to hear, "Captain, I don't think they meant harm. I think it's a ritual, something to show honesty, maybe even peace." But before Daniel could reply, the soldier who had laughed nervously earlier shifted uneasily. His face was pale now. The aliens turned their bright eyes toward him, and the soldier quickly lowered his gaze to the ground. One of the alien women took a step forward. Her silver skin shimmered under the light, and her eyes narrowed ever so slightly. The translator crackled with static, then hummed as her words echoed. "Why does your warrior mock us?" The air turned heavy. The soldier stiffened in fear. The rest of the humans looked around in panic. Daniel felt the weight of 1,000 possible outcomes pressing down on him. One wrong move and this fragile meeting could collapse. He stepped forward slowly, raising his hands in a calm gesture. "There was no insult," Daniel said firmly. "It was only fear. Fear of what we do not yet understand." The translator repeated his words, and for a moment the alien women were silent. Then a ripple of soft murmurs passed through them, like wind rustling through tall grass. Still, their faces remained unreadable. Elena spoke again, this time louder, trying to help. "Captain, it's possible that revealing themselves is their way of saying they hide nothing. They want to show us everything. No secrets, no lies." Daniel nodded slowly, but his chest tightened with unease. If that was true, then their custom was a sign of trust, and the soldier's laugh may have been taken as ridicule, a terrible insult. The alien leader raised her hand and the murmurs stopped. Her eyes glowed brighter and she spoke again in that melodic, commanding voice. "Your kind do not understand," the translator buzzed. "But you must learn. Trust is life. Truth is life. Those who hide are enemies. Those who laugh at truth cannot walk among us." The soldier's face went white. He took a step back, but the aliens moved forward in unison. Their grace was terrifying, like shadows of light closing in. "Captain!" the soldier cried out. His voice cracked with fear. Two alien women reached for him. Their movements were slow but certain, as if there was no escape. "Stop!" Daniel shouted. He stepped forward, standing between the soldier and the alien women. His heart pounded in his chest, but he forced his voice to stay firm. "He is one of us. If you take him, you take all of us." The aliens halted, studying him. The leader tilted her head, her expression unreadable. For a long moment, no one moved. The humans held their breath. Then the alien leader lowered her hand. Her glowing hair rippled like water. "You protect your own," the translator echoed her words. "This is honor. But honor alone is not truth." The humans did not know if this was praise or warning. Elena whispered, "Captain, if we don't understand their customs soon, we could lose everything. They might see us as liars." Daniel nodded, his eyes never leaving the alien leader. "Then we'll have to prove our truth." Somehow, the aliens stepped back, returning to their line. Their dresses flowed around them like waves. The leader raised her hand once more, her voice calm but sharp as a blade. "We welcome you. But know this, every guest must answer. Every guest must reveal their truth." The humans stared, confused and unsettled. What did it mean? Did they have to copy the alien gesture? Did they have to expose themselves the same way? The thought made the crew uneasy. Whispers spread among them, but the captain raised his hand for silence. He could feel the suspense building like a storm above his head. The alien women were watching, waiting. The humans were nervous, on edge. Every heartbeat felt like the sound of a ticking clock counting down to disaster. Finally, the leader turned her back, as if signaling the meeting was over. The alien women began walking toward the tall, curved towers in the distance. They did not look back. The humans stood frozen, unsure if they had just been accepted or rejected. Elena finally spoke, her voice filled with dread. "Captain, what if they expect us to do the same? What if not answering means we've already failed?" Daniel clenched his fists, staring after the aliens. He had no answer. All he knew was that the human crew had stepped into a web of customs they could not understand, and if they made one more mistake, it might cost them everything. The silence after the aliens left was suffocating. The humans looked to their captain. He looked up at the alien towers glowing under the strange sky, and he whispered only one sentence. The human crew returned to their ship after the strange meeting, but the air inside the cabin was heavy with fear and confusion. The alien women had left without anger, yet their final words echoed in every mind. Every guest must reveal their truth. What did that mean? Did they want the humans to copy their gesture? Did they expect something else? Nobody knew. But one thing was clear, this was a test. A test that could decide if humans were seen as friends or enemies. Captain Daniel sat in the command chair, staring at the floor. His crew whispered among themselves. Some were embarrassed, others were angry, but all of them were nervous. "We can't do what they did," one of the engineers muttered. "It's madness. What if they laugh at us? What if it's a trap?" Elena, the science officer, shook her head. "No, it's not a trap. It's their culture. Their way of showing honesty. If we refuse, they may think we are liars. And liars don't survive here." The young soldier who had laughed earlier sat in silence, his face pale. He knew his laugh had caused trouble. He knew the aliens had almost taken him away. Guilt burned in his chest like fire. Captain Daniel finally raised his head. His voice was low but firm. "We cannot run. This is first contact and humanity cannot afford failure. We need to understand their custom. We need to show them respect." The crew nodded slowly, though fear lingered in their eyes. The next day, the aliens summoned them again. The humans walked out onto the open plain where the women waited in perfect lines. The towers gleamed in the distance like watchful eyes. This time, the alien leader stood at the front, her glowing hair swaying in the soft wind. Her voice rang out sharp and clear. "Today, your truth, huh?" The translator buzzed, repeating her words. The humans froze. The air thickened with tension. Captain Daniel stepped forward, bowing slightly. "We are honored to be your guests, but we do not understand your way. Teach us. Help us learn." The leader tilted her head, studying him. Then slowly she raised her dress again. All the alien women followed her, lifting their dresses in perfect unison. Their faces were calm, their eyes glowing bright. The humans' hearts pounded. The meaning was clear. Now it was their turn. Daniel glanced at his crew. They hesitated, whispering nervously. Fear gripped them. How could they do such a thing? Would it shame them forever? Then it happened. The mistake. The young soldier who had laughed earlier stepped forward. His voice trembled, but he tried to speak boldly. "This is nonsense. We can't just—" He stopped. The words died in his throat. Every alien eye turned toward him. The air grew colder. The alien leader lowered her dress slowly. The others followed, their movements sharp, their grace turning into something more frightening. Her voice cut through the silence. "He mocks truth again." The translator's words hit like a blade. The soldier's face drained of color. "No," Captain Daniel shouted, stepping forward. "He does not mock you. He is young. He does not understand. Please," but the aliens did not listen. Two of them moved quickly, their bodies glowing brighter as they reached for the soldier. This time there was no hesitation. They grabbed him by the arms. The soldier cried out in fear. "Captain, help me!" The humans rushed forward, but a wave of light erupted from the alien women. It was not fire, not energy, but something deeper, a force that pushed the humans back like a strong wind. They stumbled, unable to move closer. The soldier struggled in their grip, but the aliens held him with ease. Their strength was far beyond human power. Daniel's chest tightened with panic. He could not lose a crew member, not like this. "Stop, please. If you punish him, punish me instead. I am the leader." The alien women paused, their glowing eyes turning toward him. The leader stepped closer, her presence overwhelming. Her voice was calm but cold. "Truth is sacred. Your kind does not give it. One among you laughs. One among you refuses. We cannot allow it." The soldiers' screams echoed, tearing at the crew's hearts. The humans watched helplessly as the aliens began pulling him toward the towers. Elena grabbed Daniel's arm, her voice urgent. Captain, this is it. If we do nothing, they will take him forever. We must answer their custom now. Daniel's eyes burned. Sweat dripped from his forehead. The crew looked at him with desperation. Time was running out. The aliens were almost at the edge of the plane. The soldier's voice grew weaker. Daniel clenched his fists. He knew what had to be done, even if it meant humiliation, even if it meant risking everything. He stepped forward, raising his hands high. His voice thundered across the plain. Wait. If truth is what you demand, then you shall have ours. The alien stopped. The leader turned, her glowing eyes fixed on him. For the first time, a flicker of curiosity crossed her face. Daniel's chest rose and fell heavily. His crew stared at him, waiting, afraid, uncertain. Would he dare to do it? Would the humans copy the alien gesture and reveal themselves just to prove their honesty? The moment stretched into silence. The soldier hung limp in alien hands, hope flickering in his eyes. And then Daniel whispered more to himself than anyone else. Forgive me, Earth. But this may be the only way. The scene ended with the crew gasping, the aliens watching, and the captain preparing to make the boldest choice of his life. The air stood still as Captain Daniel took a slow step forward. His chest rose and fell heavily, his face pale but determined. The aliens held the young soldier tightly, waiting to see what the humans would do. The plane was silent except for the sound of the soldier's shallow breaths and the faint hum of alien energy flowing in the air. The human crew stood frozen. No one dared to move. No one dared to speak. Every heartbeat felt like a drum echoing across the ground. Captain Daniel slowly raised his hand. His crew's eyes widened in disbelief. Was he really going to copy the alien gesture? Was he really going to risk his dignity, his reputation, maybe even his entire career as the first captain to make contact with alien life? But Daniel's voice was steady, carrying across the plain. If your custom is truth, then I will show you ours. The alien leader tilted her head slightly, her glowing eyes fixed on him. The alien women behind her stood still, their dresses flowing like waves in the soft wind. Daniel took a deep breath. Then in one motion, he tugged at his uniform jacket and lifted it up, baring himself just as the aliens had done with their dresses. His crew gasped. Some turned away in shock, others stared in silence, unable to believe what they were seeing. The aliens watched closely. Their eyes glowed brighter, their lips curved faintly. And then, for the first time since their arrival, they laughed. It was not mocking laughter. It was soft, melodic, almost like a song carried by the wind. The sound sent shivers down the humans' spines. The alien leader lowered her hand. She spoke, and the translator buzzed. At last, you give truth. The soldier, still held by two aliens, was slowly released. His body shook, but his eyes filled with relief. He stumbled back toward the human crew, who caught him quickly. Captain Daniel lowered his jacket, his face red with shame, but his eyes steady. He had done what was necessary. He had given them the answer they demanded. The alien leader stepped forward, her glowing hair drifting like fireflies in the air. She stood just a few feet away from Daniel and studied him closely. Then she spoke again, her voice calm and clear. You did not know, yet you dared. You risked your honor for your people. This is truth. The translator's words filled the air and the human crew finally understood. Elena gasped softly. Captain, it's a ritual of honesty. They reveal themselves to prove they have nothing to hide. It's not about shame. It's about trust. The alien leader nodded as if confirming Elena's words. Those who lift the veil show they are pure. Those who refuse are false. Those who laugh are enemies. The soldier lowered his head, his face burning with guilt. Daniel placed a firm hand on his shoulder. You must learn. We all must. The alien leader extended her hand, palm open. Daniel hesitated for only a second, then placed his hand over hers. Her skin was cool, smooth, and faintly glowing. The translator buzzed again. You may walk among us, but your test is not complete. Truth is the first step. There are more. Her words struck the crew with both relief and fear. They had passed for now. But what other customs, what other strange trials would they face in this alien world? The aliens turned and began walking toward their towering city of curved shells and glowing light. Their dresses swayed like silver rivers. The leader glanced back once, her bright eyes locked on Daniel. Follow, the translator whispered in his ear. The humans exchanged nervous glances. They had no choice. As they marched toward the alien city, Elena spoke quietly beside Daniel. Captain, this means something bigger. Their greeting, their ritual, it's more than just tradition. It's a law, maybe even a religion, Daniel nodded grimly, and we just stepped into it blind. The alien city grew larger as they approached. The towers curved upward like giant shells of crystal. Strange lights danced along their surfaces, alive and pulsing. The ground itself seemed to hum beneath their boots. Inside the city gates, more aliens waited. Again, all of them were women. They bowed slightly as the leader passed, their glowing hair trailing like banners of light. The humans felt dozens of eyes on them, judging, weighing their every move. Daniel whispered to his crew, "Stay calm. Do not laugh. Do not question. Watch everything." The humans were led into a vast chamber shaped like a dome. Its walls shimmered as if woven from liquid glass. In the center stood a great stone, carved with strange symbols glowing faintly. The alien leader placed her hand on the stone, and the room brightened with a soft golden light. She turned to the humans. Her voice echoed like a song through the chamber. "You have given truth. Now you must give honor." The translator repeated her words, but the meaning was unclear. The crew exchanged worried looks. Honor? What did that mean in this alien culture? Daniel's heart pounded. They had survived the first test only by chance, only by daring. But now another challenge stood before them, one they could not yet understand. And as the golden light filled the chamber, one thought burned in Daniel's mind. If truth nearly destroyed us, what will honor demand? The golden glow of the chamber wrapped around the humans like warm sunlight, but instead of comfort, it brought only unease. The alien leader's words echoed again. "You have given truth. Now you must give honor." The crew shifted nervously, exchanging uncertain looks. None of them understood what honor meant in this strange culture. On Earth, honor meant bravery, sacrifice, or respect. But here it could mean anything. Captain Daniel felt the weight of the moment pressing down on his shoulders. He had risked his dignity to match their ritual of truth, and it had saved his soldier's life. But this was different. The aliens were watching with sharp, glowing eyes, waiting for the human's next move. Elena whispered beside him, her voice trembling. "Captain, we can't guess wrong. If we choose the wrong act, they might see it as betrayal." Daniel nodded, his jaw tight. "Then we must watch. We must learn before we act." The alien leader stepped forward, her glowing hair drifting in the golden light. She touched the great stone in the center of the room again, and the symbols carved into it pulsed brighter. "Honor is life," she said. The translator buzzed and repeated her words. "Without honor, truth is empty. Without honor, no bond can last." Her voice was soft but firm, filled with power. Then, in a graceful movement, she knelt before the stone. She pressed her forehead against it, her arms spread wide. The alien women behind her mirrored the act, bowing low until their dresses swept the floor. The humans stood frozen. Was this what honor meant? Bowing to the stone? Offering themselves in some sacred act? The alien leader raised her head and looked directly at Daniel. "Show honor." The translator carried her words through the chamber. The silence that followed was suffocating. Daniel's heart thundered. His crew's eyes were locked on him. He had to decide. Every instinct told him this was more than a ritual. It was a test. And this time there would be no second chances. He stepped toward the stone. His boots echoed against the shimmering floor. Slowly, carefully, he lowered himself onto his knees. His forehead touched the stone, cold against his skin. His arms stretched wide. The crew gasped quietly. They had never seen their captain kneel like this. Not to any man, not to any power. But now, before the aliens, he humbled himself completely. The alien leader's eyes glowed brighter. A faint smile curved her lips. Daniel raised his head and spoke firmly. "We give our honor. We are not enemies, we are not liars, we are guests who come in peace." The translator echoed his words, and for a long moment, silence followed. The humans held their breath. Then, slowly the alien women lowered themselves again, bowing deeply before the stone. The golden light in the chamber flared brighter, filling the space with warmth. The alien leader rose gracefully. "You understand," she said. "You give honor to truth. You give weight to words. This is good." Relief rippled through the human crew. A few let out shaky breaths they hadn't realized they were holding, but the moment of peace did not last. The leader raised her hand, and the golden light dimmed. Her voice grew sharper. "But honor is not only bowing. Honor is sacrifice. Honor is giving for another. Will you give?" The translator repeated her words, and the crew stiffened. Fear returned instantly. Daniel frowned. "Give what?" he asked carefully. The alien leader tilted her head. "One of you must offer something of value, something that cannot be taken back." The words hit like a storm. The crew stared at their captain, panic flickering in their eyes. What did she mean? A gift? A secret? A life? Elena's voice trembled. "Captain, what if they want blood? What if they want one of us as tribute?" The soldier who had caused trouble earlier swallowed hard, his face pale. "If that's true, then it's me. I made the mistake. Let them take me." Daniel shook his head firmly. "No, you're part of this crew. If anyone is given, it will be me." The alien leader watched quietly, her expression unreadable. She seemed to be studying every word, every movement. The silence stretched, heavy as stone. Finally, Daniel reached into his jacket and pulled out a small object. A silver pin, his captain's insignia. It was more than just metal. It was his honor, his rank, his identity. He stepped forward and placed it on the glowing stone. His voice was steady, though his heart ached. "This is my honor. I give it to you, so you may know I serve not myself, but peace between our worlds." The translator echoed his words, and the chamber filled with silence again. The alien leader stepped forward. She picked up the pin with delicate fingers, holding it up to the light. For a long moment she stared at it. Then she looked at Daniel. Her lips curved into a slow smile. "You give truly. This is honor." The crew let out a collective breath of relief. But then the leader's smile faded. Her glowing eyes hardened like steel. "Truth and honor are the first steps," she said. "But there is one more. The hardest test of all." The golden light in the chamber dimmed until only the faint glow of the stone remained. Shadows stretched across the walls. The alien leader's voice was low, sharp as a blade. "Now you must give loyalty." The translator carried the word into the silence, and the humans shivered. Captain Daniel's chest tightened. He had given truth. He had given honor. But loyalty? To whom? To what? The chamber fell quiet as the humans realized the weight of the next trial, and deep down, every one of them feared the same thing. What if loyalty means betraying Earth itself? The chamber was silent except for the faint hum of the glowing stone. The alien leader's final words echoed in every ear. "Now you must give loyalty." The humans shifted uneasily. Fear showed on every face. Truth had been humiliating, honor had been heavy. But loyalty could mean anything. Loyalty could mean choosing sides, choosing them over Earth. Captain Daniel's jaw tightened. He felt the weight of his crew's eyes pressing on him. They trusted him, but even trust had limits. Could he swear loyalty to aliens he had only just met? Could he betray his home planet, the very people he had sworn to serve? The alien leader stepped closer. Her eyes glowed brighter, filled with power. "Without loyalty, there can be no bond. Without loyalty, truth and honor are dust in the wind." The translator repeated her words, and the air grew colder. Elena whispered, "Captain, this could be a trap. If we promise loyalty, they might see it as submission. But if we refuse, they may see us as enemies." Daniel's heart pounded. It was a perfect test, designed to crush them either way. He could almost feel the aliens watching not just his words, but the very core of his being. The soldier who had caused trouble earlier clenched his fists. Captain, maybe they want loyalty to each other. Maybe it's not about Earth. Maybe it's about proving we won't abandon our own. Daniel's eyes flickered with hope. Could that be it? Could loyalty mean showing unity among the crew, not betrayal of their world? He took a slow step forward. His voice rang out firm and steady. We are loyal. Loyal to one another. Loyal to our word. If you test us together. No one stands alone. The translator buzzed, carrying his words into the chamber. The alien leader studied him closely. Her glowing hair shifted like streams of light. For a long moment, no one spoke. The silence was suffocating. Then, slowly, the alien women raised their hands. The golden light of the chamber brightened, flooding the space in warmth. Their voices rose together, soft and melodic like a choir singing in harmony. The leader spoke, her words like music. You understand more than most. Loyalty is not to us. It is to each other. It is to the bond that cannot be broken. Relief rippled through the human crew. Some smiled weakly, others let out quiet breaths of relief. For the first time since landing, the weight on their shoulders seemed to ease. But then, the twist came. The alien leader's eyes hardened once more. But loyalty must be proven. Her hand gestured, and two alien women stepped forward, carrying a strange object between them. It looked like a crystal sphere glowing with deep blue light. Inside it swirled something dark, almost like smoke trapped in water. They placed it on the stone. The light in the chamber dimmed again, leaving only the glow of the sphere. The translator buzzed as the leader spoke. One among you must step forward. Place your hand inside. If loyalty is true, the light will rise. If loyalty is false, the shadow will take them. The crew froze in terror. Place a hand inside? Into that swirling smoke? What would it do? Kill them? Trap them? The soldier whispered. Captain, it should be me. I made the mistakes. Let me do it. Daniel shook his head. No, this is my responsibility. He stepped forward. His boots echoed across the chamber. The alien women watched silently, their glowing eyes unblinking. Daniel reached the stone. The sphere pulsed, its blue light shifting like waves, its dark shadow twisting like claws inside. He stared at it, his breath heavy. For a moment he thought of Earth. He thought of his family, his oath, his people. Would they forgive him for risking everything? Would they understand that survival meant bending to alien customs? Slowly he reached out. His hand trembled as it hovered above the sphere. Behind him, Elena's voice broke the silence. Captain. Wait, Daniel froze. He turned his head slightly. Elena's eyes were wide, filled with sudden realization. This is not about one person. Loyalty is not shown by a single hand. It's shown by all. If only one of us does this, we might fail. The crew murmured in shock. Could she be right? The alien leader's lips curved slightly as if amused. She said nothing. She only watched. Daniel's eyes burned with determination. He lowered his hand, then turned to his crew. Elena is right. This isn't my test. It's ours. He stepped back from the stone and faced his crew. His voice was strong, unshaken. If we do this, we do it together. We either pass as one, or fall as one. The crew exchanged fearful looks. But then, one by one, they nodded. Daniel turned back to the alien leader. We give loyalty not through one hand, but through all. We will face your test together. The translator echoed his words. The alien leader's eyes gleamed. She raised her hand and the chamber filled with humming light. The sphere's glow brightened, the shadow inside swirling faster, darker. She gestured. Then prove it. The humans stepped forward, forming a circle around the stone. The blue sphere pulsed, waiting. One by one, they raised their hands above it. Daniel looked around at his crew, scared but united, trembling but strong. On my mark, he said softly. Together. The crew nodded, Daniel's voice cut through the silence. Now. All at once, the humans placed their hands on the sphere. The blue light flared so bright it blinded them. The shadow inside screamed like a living thing. The chamber shook, the air crackled, the stone itself trembled under their hands. The humans cried out, but none pulled away. Their hands burned, their skin tingled, but they held firm. Then suddenly the shadow shattered. The dark smoke dissolved into nothing. The blue light rose higher and higher until it filled the entire chamber, washing away every shadow. The alien women bowed low. The leader's voice rang out, filled with approval. Loyalty proven. The crew gasped in relief. Some fell to their knees, exhausted, trembling. But they were alive. Daniel's chest heaved. He looked at his crew, pride burning in his heart. They had passed. Together. But just as relief spread across the humans, the alien leader's eyes darkened. She spoke again, her voice heavy as thunder. Now you are ready for the final truth. The chamber went silent. Captain Daniel swallowed hard. If this had only been the test, what awaited them in the final trial? The chamber was still glowing with the fading blue light of the loyalty test. The humans stood weak and trembling, but united. They had survived truth, they had survived honor, and they had proven loyalty together. Relief filled their hearts. But the alien leader's words shattered that fragile peace. Now you are ready for the final truth. Her voice echoed like thunder across the dome. The golden light dimmed again, leaving only the faint shimmer of the great stone in the center. The alien women stood tall, their glowing eyes unblinking as if the humans were standing before judges in a great trial. Captain Daniel wiped the sweat from his forehead. His crew looked to him, their faces pale and uncertain. He had no answers for them. Not this time. What final truth? He asked, his voice firm but cautious. The alien leader stepped closer. Her glowing hair drifted like strands of light in the still air. She placed her hand on the stone, and the symbols carved into it flared with a new color, deep crimson. Truth, honor, loyalty. These are the steps, she said. The translator buzzed as her voice filled the chamber. But the last step is choice. You must choose your path. Only then can we see your true nature. Daniel frowned. Choice? The alien leader gestured, and two doors appeared on opposite sides of the chamber. They seemed to melt out of the walls, glowing faintly in different colors, one golden, one black. The humans stared in shock. The leader's voice carried again. One door leads to alliance. One door leads to exile. If you choose wrongly, your people will never walk among us again. The translator repeated her words, and silence fell. The crew's hearts pounded. Two doors, two paths. No clues, the young soldier whispered. This isn't fair. How can we know which one is right? Elena shook her head, her eyes narrowing. It's not about the doors. It's about us. They want to see how we choose, what we value. Daniel's eyes burned with thought. Could Elena be right? Were the doors not a trick but a mirror of their decision? He turned to his crew. Listen, we've faced every test together. Truth, honor, loyalty. They were never about rituals. They were about unity. If we let fear split us now, we fail. The soldier looked at the black door nervously. What if that one means death? Daniel placed a steady hand on his shoulder. Then we face it together. The alien leader watched silently, her expression unreadable. Daniel turned back to the crew. His voice was steady, filled with quiet strength. We go through one door, not as individuals, not as strangers, as one crew, one family. The crew nodded, fear still in their eyes but resolve in their hearts. Daniel faced the golden door. He hesitated for only a moment, then shook his head. No, gold is too easy, too safe. Honor is not safe. Loyalty is not safe. Truth is not safe. The right path is never easy. He turned to the black door. Its dark glow seemed to swallow the light around it. His heart pounded, but he felt the choice deep in his bones. This is it, he said. We take the harder path, together. The crew stood behind him. Together they placed their hands on the black door. It pulsed under their touch, cold and heavy. With a low rumble, the door opened. Darkness spilled out, swallowing the golden light of the chamber. The humans stepped forward one by one, their hearts hammering in their chests. They expected death. They expected fire. But what they found stunned them. The darkness dissolved into light. A vast hall stretched before them, filled with towering symbols, glowing banners, and rows of alien women bowing deeply. The alien leader stepped through behind them, her voice rising like a song. You have chosen well. You chose the harder path. You chose trust without comfort. That is the way of true allies. The humans froze in disbelief. The black door had been the test. The golden door would have meant failure, a choice of ease over courage. Elena gasped softly. It wasn't about the door. It was about the courage to risk everything. The alien leader raised her hand. Humans, you are the first in 1,000 years to pass the trials of truth, honor, loyalty, and choice. You are not guests anymore. You are kin. The alien women lowered their dresses and bowed deeply, a gesture of respect. For the first time, the humans understood. The ritual was not humiliation. It was trust. It was the highest gift the aliens could give. Daniel's chest swelled with pride. He looked at his crew, at the faces of men and women who had stood together through fear and pain, and he smiled. The alien leader's voice rang out one last time. Together we will share the stars. Your laughter, your courage, your loyalty. These are the gifts we seek. Humanity is strange, but humanity is worthy. The chamber erupted in light brighter than the sun. The humans shielded their eyes, and when the light faded, they stood not as strangers, not as outsiders, but as allies to a race that had tested them to the core. Captain Daniel whispered softly, his voice filled with awe. We came seeking peace. We found family. The crew smiled, relief and pride mixing in their hearts. They had survived. They had triumphed. And now, the galaxy would never be the same. Because from the strangest custom in the universe, lifting dresses in greeting, had come the strongest bond humanity had ever known.